Okay, so we can get started. Hi to all. Sorry, what was your name? Jonathan. Jonathan, yes. So I know we're still waiting for some people, but let's get into our textbook. So we are Unit 11, and we're going to be talking about tourism. So tourism is a word that we use when people travel to another country and they can explore, see, and get to know another country. So that's what tourism is. So let's get straight into our textbook. So we're Unit 11, tourism. And I can see that there's a picture and it says the desert in Jordan. So this is a country, Jordan. And I can see that there's a table, there's a teapot, some glasses, and it looks like it's just in the middle of nowhere, in the desert. So let's listen to a little short audio about a man talking about his holiday in Jordan. And the man in the audio is going to tell us why this table is here in the middle of the desert. So we're going to listen and then do number 3 to see which of the holidays is the man talking about. Was he on a camping holiday? Was he backpacking around the world, a sightseeing tour, a package holiday by the beach, or hiking in the mountains? Okay, so let's listen to the man telling us about his holiday in Jordan.
Track 101. Unit 11. When I was 19, I took a gap year between school and the university. I saved some money and then I went backpacking around the world. My favorite memory is when I was traveling in the desert in Jordan and I met some local people. They were called Bedouin and they lived in tents in the desert. They were very friendly and invited me for tea. It was a hot afternoon, but they put the table outside and made hot tea. We all sat in the middle of the desert, drank tea, and watched the sun go down. It was wonderful.
Okay, let's listen one more time.
Track 101. Unit 11, opener. When I was 19, I took a gap year between school and university. I saved some money and then I went backpacking around the world. My favorite memory is when I was traveling in the desert in Jordan and I met some local people. They were called Bedouin and they lived in tents in the desert. They were very friendly and invited me for tea. It was a hot afternoon, but they put the table outside and made hot tea. We all sat in the middle of the desert, drank tea, and watched the sun go down. It was wonderful.
Okay, so I hope you understood from the audio. We have a man, and when he finished high school, there's a year between high school and university. And that year is called a gap year. So high school and university, this is called a gap year. And it's 1 year where you can do what you want before you go to university. You can travel the world, you can just work, make money. It's called a gap year. And it's that time between high school and university. So this man, he was 19 years old. He went to Jordan for a backpacking around the world. And when he was in Jordan, he met some Bedouins. So these are people who live in the desert, usually in the Middle East. And they live in these tents, so they move around. And usually they look after the sheep, the camels. So they live like old-fashioned kind of way, very simple life. You can see here. So this is the people that he met, Bedouin people. So you can see. And when he met them, they invited him to drink tea. But because it was so hot in the tent, they had to put the table outside. And that's how he drank the tea. He was watching the sun go down and drinking tea with these people, the Bedouin. So I'll let you listen now one more time again, now that you know the idea of what he was talking about. So let's listen one last time.
Track 101, Unit 11, Opener.
When I was 19, I took a gap year between school and university. I saved some money and then I went backpacking around the world. My favorite memory is when I was traveling in the desert in Jordan and I met some local people. They were called Bedouin and they lived in tents in the desert. They were very friendly and invited me for tea. It was a hot afternoon, but they put the table outside and made hot tea. We all sat in the middle of the desert, drank tea, and watched the sun go down. It was wonderful.
So that does sound like a nice experience. So which of these holidays did he do?
Backpacking around the world.
Yeah, backpacking around the world. So that means he's just taking a small amount of luggage with him and traveling the world. So it's literally like a bag on your back. That's all you have. And then you're traveling the world. So backpacking around the world. Now, which of these holidays do you prefer? So if you were to travel, what kind of holiday would you like? So I'll go first. For me, I like the package holiday by the beach. I love the water. I love the beach. I think it's very relaxing and I love getting sun. So I think the beach holiday would be my type of holiday. What would be yours?
Same.
Hiking in the mountains, yes, and we can do that in Adelaide. Yeah, there's Mount Lofty. Yeah, places that we could do that. Nice. And did you say same? Same, yes, the beach, the mountains. Anyone else? Something different? Camping. Yeah, they're all very good options. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next page. We're looking at planning a trip. So when you normally plan a trip, there's things you have to do before. Maybe you need to see if you need a visa for the country. Maybe you need to get your passport because maybe it's expired. Obviously, you need to buy the plane ticket. You need to organize time off work. When you normally plan a holiday, how long do you take to plan it? Like for me, maybe I need about a month. I make sure a month that I know when I'm going, getting all my tickets, passport, visas, accommodation. And, you want to get the best price. So you're always looking for the best price. Maybe about a month. Does anyone need more time or? For me, it's about a month. Depends on the location. Yeah, true. Because I mean, if you're going somewhere in Australia, you don't need. Yeah? Okay. Yes. Yes, exactly. So if you're going for a year, you need a couple of months to plan. Yeah, I think that's a good point. It depends how long you're going for. Because if you're just going for a week, it's not really, you know. Exactly. Yeah, but if you're going for a year, that's a big move. You need to organize a lot more stuff. Organize. Yeah, you need to organize, plan, book, get ready. Yeah. So we have here an information for tourists and visitors in Australia. So we've got these words: road travel, weather, money, visas, and language. So these should be good words that you understand what they mean. Yeah, any words, no, you don't understand? No, they're good words. Okay, which of these words is the title for the paragraph? So if I'll read number one, you have to get a holiday visa from the Australian Embassy before you leave. Tourists can stay for a maximum of 6 months. You can't work, hi Vivi, you can't work in Australia without a work visa. You have to get a visa from the Australian Embassy in your country. Which of these words is a good title for this paragraph? Visa. Yes, it's giving us information about the visa for Australia. So number one, visa. Yep. So we'll take some notes as well. Okay, number two, the currency is Australian dollars. Most shops, hotels, and banks in large cities accept credit cards. In smaller towns, always have cash with you. Money. That's letting you know everything about money for when you come to Australia. Number three, Australia is a multicultural country. That means that there's many people from different countries. So there aren't many different languages. So there are. Most people speak or understand English. I think that's about language. Yeah, language. The climate is different in different areas of the country. Summers are very hot and the temperature is often over 40 degrees Celsius. Always use lots of sunscreen and wear a hat. Yep, that's information about the weather. And the last one, tourists don't have to get a new driver's license. But if you stay here for more than 1 year, you have to take an Australian driving test. Road travel. Road travel. Okay, the next page tells us to read these comments from visitors to Australia. Do you think that they have followed the information in this little information book? So someone says, I've been a tourist here for 7 months. I'm going to stay a few weeks longer. So this person is a tourist and they said, I've been a tourist in Australia for 7 months. I'm going to stay a few weeks longer. Are they following the rules from what we know in the for the visa? Yeah, but are they following the rules? It says tourist can stay for a maximum of 6 months. So no, they cannot stay. So I would write no, they have not followed. So the first one, no, because they can only stay 6 months. But they said, I want to stay longer. So no. Okay, number 2, it says, I got a work visa before I left home. Did they follow the rules? Yeah, this person followed the rules, yeah. If somebody says, I've changed most of my money to US dollars, is that good for them when they're coming to Australia? They have US dollars and they're coming to Australia. Is that good or bad? That would be bad. So no, they have not read the rules and followed the rules. They need to have Australian dollars, not US. Somebody says, I'm working here for 6 months. I don't know if I can drive here. Has this person read the rules about road travel? No, because if they read it, they would know that yes, they can drive. But if they are here for more than 1 year, then they need the test. So this person hasn't read the information. Because they can drive, they should know. If they read the information, they would know, I can drive. I've bought sunscreen because of the heat. Has that person read the information? Yes. Yeah, they know it's very hot in Australia. They read the information about the weather. They know that summers are very hot in Australia. Always use lots of sunscreen. So this person says, I've brought sunscreen. So yes, they have read the information. Okay, now we're looking at Brazil. And we've got some vocab: climate, that means the temperature; currency, about the money; license, maybe you need a car license; multicultural, that means many cultures, many people from different parts of the world; right-hand side; temperature; and visa. So I'll give you a minute to read this paragraph and put in the missing words. Okay, we'll come back in a minute. And hi to Gustavo and Valeria. Okay, so let's have a look at it. So number 1, would you like to read it, Alina? Yeah, this one, number 1, for employment in Brazil. Just the first one sentence. No. This page here. So, you know, in the bottom, this page. This one, yep. Yep. Sorry, yes, most people need a work visa. Yep, sorry, I didn't hear. So yeah, for employment in Brazil, most people need a work visa. Hi, Santiago. And number 2, Oscar. Yeah, the Brazilian real is the national currency. Yep. Currency. Currency. And Clayton. Hi, Clayton. Number 3, Juanita.
Is the official links that Brazilian with over
200? Yes, Brazil is a multicultural. Number 4, Sebastian. Yes, good. Yep. Number 4, yep.
Is two conflict, so the element can change between the north and south. However, it usually warm and the summer temperature is often very high.
Yeah, so a bit of pronunciation. So Brazil is a huge country. So the climate can change between the north and south. So when you have the TH, you have to say th, the north and south. However, so you got to say it's usually warm, and in the summer, the temperature is often very high. Good. Number 6, Italo. I know, you arrived a little bit late. Okay. That's okay. Jonathan. Right. Drive on the right-hand side of the road. And 7, Bivy. You have to carry your driving license when you drive. So driving license. Okay, let's do the next page, but we're going to do it together. So we're looking at questions. Let's do Brazil as a group. So Brazil, what is the currency? I guess we know because, yep, real. Do tourists need a visa? Yes. What's the normal temperature in summer and winter? Sorry? 40 degrees? Yeah. Is what? Minus. Wow. The region, yeah, because it's a big country. So if you're up north, south. So in summer in Brazil, it can be 40 degrees. But in winter, for some regions, it could be minus. Unbelievable, big change from hot to cold. But it depends on some region. And yes, is the climate different in different areas? Yes. Which side of the road do you drive on? The right-hand side for Brazil. Do you always have to carry your driver's license, Brazil? Yeah? And is it multicultural? Yes. Colombia, what is your currency? Pesos? Do tourists need a visa?
No.
No.
No? Okay. It depends maybe which country. Okay. Okay. And what's the normal temperature in summer? Yeah.
Same.
I know it's same like Australia because we have Darwin that's very hot and then Adelaide it's big difference. Yeah, I know, very different. And which side of the road are you right as well? Right. And do you always have to carry your license? And is it multicultural? Interesting, yes. Okay, I think very similar for Australia. What is the currency? The Australian dollar. I don't know if you need a visa. I would say yes, because you would definitely need a visa. Australia has very strict rules. And what's the normal temperature? It can be 30 degrees, 20 degrees. Again, depends which part. And winter can be as well, minus. But it's a small change, not very, there's not a lot of snow in the cities. So we're very lucky. It's, And is the climate different? Yes. We drive on the left-hand side. And yes, we have to have our license. And is it multicultural? 100%. Very. Okay, good. Let's look at some grammar. So we have these words, have to and can. So we're using it in the present moment. Have to is like saying something is very important. Like I have to do something. I must do something. I should do something. So it's very important. So whatever action, it's necessary, it's important. So it's different to saying you can, because can means you have an option. Like if you want, you can, if you want, you can wear a hat in Australia, but you don't have to. But if I say you have to, then it means you must. It's very important. So let's look at some of the, some other rules, and then we'll look at the sentences. So how do you make this sentence? You put the subject, remember, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and then you say have. But if it's he, she, it, you say has to, and then whatever the action is. So for example, I have to see my grandmother tomorrow because she's sick. I have to do my homework because I have a test on Friday. I have to call my mother because it's her birthday. So that's how I make the sentence. If it's has to, then it's like he, my husband, has to work tomorrow. So only for he, she, it, when I'm talking about he or her, he has to do something. It's also have to is when I give an order, like you have to do something. So it's also an order. To make a negative, you add don't or doesn't in front of the has to. So I don't have to read this book because I watched the video. I don't have to, whatever the action I'm saying, you say don't. If it's for he, she, you say she doesn't have to, he doesn't have to. Okay, so some examples. You have to get a holiday visa from the Australian Embassy. That means there is no choice. That's the only option. You have to do it. Tourists don't have to, so it's not important. They don't have to get a new driver's license. Tourist can. Now remember, can is used with, it's an option. It's a possibility. It's an option. And it's proper, it's a modal verb, but it means it's possible. You can, you're allowed to do it if you want, but there's an option. So tourists can, if they want, stay for a maximum of 6 months. They don't have to, but if they want, they can. So it's like saying, if you want, you can, if you want. You have a choice. You can't, so to make the negative, you add not, but you can connect it by saying can't. So you can't work in Australia without a visa. Just some other examples. I have to pass this level before I can go to the next level. You have to try the local food. It's amazing. I don't have to work on the weekends. I don't have to use a pen. I don't have to play soccer tomorrow. And some examples for can. I can see you on the weekend. So that means if I want, I have a choice. I can work next week, or I can not work next week. I can buy you lunch. I can't work on Friday. So which of these verbs means it is necessary? Have to or can? Have to. It's necessary. It's important. You must. That's have to. You should do something. Which verb, action word, means it is possible? Can. It's possible. You can, you could, you may, you might, you're able to. They're all very similar. It's possible if you want to. You're allowed to. It's a choice. Which verb means it is not necessary? That's actually have to. It's not, have to is not necessary. You don't have to do something. So if I said, yeah, you don't have to use a pen in your test, it means it is not necessary. So the negative, this one, means not necessary. It's not important. Which one means it is not possible? Can. Because can is like saying, because can is like saying it's not possible. You can't do it. So for example, if I say I cannot work on Saturday, it means I can't do it because maybe I'm busy, I have something else. So it's not possible. I cannot do it. And which form of the verb comes after the verbs in the bold? So what is this verb here? That's the main verb. So have to and can come in front of the main verb. So that's the main verb. This is the main verb. This one. So have to and can is a helper verb. It comes in front of it. It's not the main action. It's a helper verb. Let's do number 7, and then we'll put some of these to practice. So match the beginning of these sentences with A to F. So if I said I have, so we know the rule, I have, there must be 2 verbs. So I have to start work. Yeah, I have to start work at 9 every day. That means it's very important. I must be at work at 9 o'clock. So I have to start work at 9. They don't. They don't. Don't is only used with have to. They don't have to get a visa. F. Did we say? Yeah. So don't and doesn't is only used with have to. Why? Because the negative of can is cannot. So they don't have to get a visa. He can't smoke in the airport. So that means there's no choice. He's not able to. It's not possible. Tourists can pay with dollars in the shop. Yep, tourist can pay with dollars in the shop. She can check in at reception after 3 p.m. In my country, you have to Yep, you have to telephone 999 for the police. Okay, let's do, so don't worry, we'll practice more of have to and can. If you didn't understand the difference very well, we're going to practice more. So if you look at the first image, it says, number 1, is it you have to drive on the left-hand side or you can if you want to? Is it important or an option? It's important. So you have to drive on the left-hand side. There's no choice. Remember, one means it's important. The other one means you have a choice. So you have to. So the first one, have to. Number 2, tourists can't take photos here, or tourists, if they want, they don't have to. It's not necessary. It's actually can't, because that means it's not possible. So they cannot. Can't is more like there is no option. You can't do it. You can't smoke. You can't take photos. There is no option. It's not possible. But remember, doesn't have to was more like it's not necessary. Like it's not important, but you can still if you want. So tourists can't take photos. It's not possible. Number 3, guests they have to leave their room before 11 a.m. It's very important. They have to. Number 4, so it says music and disco in the hotel bar tonight, free for all guests. Do guests have to or they don't have to pay? They don't have to because it's free. They don't have to. Number 5, you can or can't smoke in this area. It's green, so you can. Now again, can, because it's an option. If you want, you can. If it said you have to smoke in this area, it means you have no choice. Even if you don't smoke, you have to smoke. So do you see how it's very different to say you have to smoke in this area? Or you can if you want. Number 6, it looks like it's a lift and it says out of order. So you can't. It's not possible. That was number 6. Number 7, it looks like there's business class and economy. So business class passengers, they don't have to. That's why they pay extra, because they don't have to wait. And passport control, so they're checking your passport. All passengers have to show their passports. Very important. So let's look back again at what they meant, the differences, before we do a writing exercise. So have to, when I use have to, because I'm showing it's very important. Like some people will say, when you come into their house, they'll say, oh, you have to take off your shoes. It means that there's no option. They want you to take off their shoes. But if I said, oh, you can take off your shoes, it means I'm giving you an option. If you want, you can. So it's up to you. Do you want to give someone an option, or do you want to tell them there is no option, you have to take off your shoes? So that's it. 1, have to means it's very important, no choice. You have to do what I say. You would have heard a lot of parents tell their children, you have to listen to me. You have to do what I say. So they're telling their children, you have no choice. You must do what I tell you. You have to do what I tell you. The other one is can. So your boss can say, well, if you want, you can wear a black shirt, or you can wear a white shirt. If you want, you can take the bus, or you can take the train. So there's an option with can. It's if you want, you can do this or you can do that. And it's also to give permission. Like you can ask, oh, can I use your pen? Yes, you can. So it's also telling someone that I let you to do that. Like I'm giving you permission. I'm saying to you, yes, you can. So that's the difference. So all you have to remember, have to, very important, must, no choice. Can, you don't have a choice. Sorry, can, sorry, did I say that wrong? Have to is very important and you don't have a choice. No option. Yeah, that's it. The only option that I say. Yeah, can, if you want. You can do this, you can do that. If you want. That's the difference. Okay, so let's get into some writing and speaking. So we're going to get into groups. We've got some time. We're going to get into a group of 3. And you're going to pick a country. Now, I'm going to give you the country. And you're going to write about what someone can do, what they have to do, they cannot do. So I'm going to put you into groups and then you're going to write. Okay, so I reckon we're ready to share what we wrote. We wrote it in groups, but we're going to be presenting it in speaking. So online, which group Who said to me they were ready? Was that Gustavo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Okay, so everyone, let's listen. So Gustavo, who was in your team?
Jessica and Andres.
Jessica, Andres, and Gustavo. Okay, so tell us, which country did you pick?
Okay, we pick Afghanistan.
Ah, Afghanistan. Okay, so everyone, let's listen. We're gonna listen to, I'll actually put an image. 1 second. That would be nice if I can put an image. Interesting country. Okay, tell us about what we have to, can't. What do we, as tourists, what should we know about this country, Afghanistan, if we want to travel there? Okay, so
Okay.
we're listening, everyone.
In this country, you have to be respectful and silent person. Also, you can dress at is a customary there, but you don't have to see the uncovered face of a single woman.
Yes.
On the other hand, you cannot speak either the religions that they have as belief. Finally, you can enjoy the tourist place and take photos to remember.
Good. And finally, you can enjoy the touristic places and take lots of photos.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. Very well presentation of Afghanistan. You cannot wear, what did you say before about you cannot wear?
Speak ill of.
The what, sorry?
Speak ill of the religions. Ill.
Can you type it in the chat box? Because that's the only part that I didn't understand. You
Okay.
cannot speak.
Wait, will you? Can speak.
So as we wait, we'll look at some pictures. You can't speak ill of religion that they have as beliefs. Yes. So you cannot speak out against Islam, I think. So that's a very good point. You cannot, if you want another way to say that, you cannot speak against their religious beliefs, which is, I'm pretty sure it's all Islam. Yeah, but you cannot speak ill or you cannot speak against their religious beliefs.
Okay.
Yep, very good point. I thought that that's what I heard. Very well. So good presentation of Afghanistan. Thank you for telling us that. So we as tourists must be very careful and do what you told us if you want to visit Afghanistan. Well done. Thank you for presenting. Next team. Who would like to go next? Edward's team. You look ready. Which country did you pick? Well, you didn't pick. I picked for you.
Right.
Which one? Israel. Ah, yes. Okay, tell us about tell us you can come up here. Yeah, come up. So I hope that you're going to be using lots of can and should and have to. You don't have to. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. How are you? Yeah. We want to visit Israel. So if we find out this fact,
We found out.
Don't have to get a visa to visit Israel.
Tourists can't shoot in the public place. Tourists
good, good, up, out. Yeah. I don't know. Is speak. Or,
Shout.
yeah, shout. Yeah. You can't eat pork in Israel.
Have to apply for work visa.
can collapse here, right? But currently is
Yeah.
Israel, yes. Okay, next team. Who would like to go next? Yes.
Thank you, guys.
So we have next team, Adriano, yes, Juanita and Jose, and they are doing which country?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, yes, yes, New Zealand. New Zealand, which is close by to Australia. Okay, so
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Everyone.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
How are you?
Okay. Our country is New Zealand. You have two children. New Zealand is a country interact for many little islands. And it's part of the crown of England. The capital is Auckland. Okay.
You have to actually visa for 2 months and you can work, but you have to work visa. You can study English, language and Maori.
okay, so you can study the English language or Maori,
Yeah.
local language.
You can enter food into the counter. Can you can buy plastic bag. Yeah. 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 And in New Zealand, curiosities. Yeah, curious.
It not kids people.
Yeah. And in New Zealand, movie and Lord of the Rings, report in the yeah. Yeah, and other curious and in New Zealand, then more sheep than people. 4.9 million peoples and sheep, 29 sheep in the culture. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys have picked very good facts. So anybody that's as a tourist, this is very good information. Next team, Julian, Bevy, yeah, and Julian, Jonathan, and Alina. Is that, yeah? Which team? Yeah. Julian. Oh, sorry, no, your team. Who was your team? Bevy, Sebastian, and Min. Sorry, yes. Sorry, I got confused because you were sitting with someone else. Sorry. Yes, so Bivy, Sebastian, and Min, Turkey. Tell us about Turkey. The country. Country.
I will.
Tell us Turkey.
Especially visiting another country property.
Yes.
My country is actually this. You have to a tourist visa to visit Turkey.
Okay. You don't have to declare if you deposit less than 10,000 euros in cash.
Okay, so you don't.
And you can drink tea or smoke some chichas at Coruro Ajipas.
You can.
You
Yeah.
can drink.
You can. This is very popular, but you can.
Rice.
Dress.
Yeah.
Bikini.
Yeah, not just.
Wow.
Very interesting, especially about the money that you can come with 10,000 euros and you don't have to declare them. Next team. So yes, we will go Alina, Jonathan, and Julian, Algeria. This is interesting.
Is an African country with a Mediterranean coast
Mediterranean coast.
in Sahara Desert. In Sahara Desert. You have to get a visa to travel. You can't drink alcohol in public.
In public. You don't have to go have anywhere else to so you cannot wear a short. So you cannot.
No.
You don't have to. No, you can. You don't. So if I want, I can wear short. No, if you say I don't have to, if I want, I can. No.
You don't have.
No, you
You can.
Yes, you can. Secret. Be careful.
You can eating with on the scale, and shake.
Oh, you can?
Accompanied by direct contact.
Okay. Online, did we have Fernando's group? Who's online that didn't have their turn? Anyone online? I told you to select your own country. That's okay. I'll give you a minute. You can pick any country you want and write about it. Okay, who hasn't had a turn? I think one more group. Italo? Yes? Yes? Yes. So choose a country, Clayton, and then you can do it after. Okay. This was interesting. Greenland. So Greenland. Okay, so Italo, it's still. Yes.
Right? The country of Greenland has 57,000 inhabitants. Yeah.
Much of the business is covered.
Nice.
Means about 18% of Greenland is permanently converted.
Big on house.
Video ice marking invades secondly largely ice reserve.
It is considered the largest distance for
You had information about the country. Did you have any sentences like that?
Some of the longest dark nights are those of winter and December night in capital New. Last almost 20 hours, and the days start about 4 hours later. One night, 20 hours. Yeah. Yes.
Tell me something that I need to do. Like I can do this, I cannot do this.
I can travel this good in this country has a big ice. I learn for 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 and this Finland is similar. The ICC France, the people. Maybe over to
It's good. So it's interesting to know about nights. Very long nights.
we understand other things
Yeah.
about this stuff.
Yeah, but that's okay. So what are the other chats? Yeah. Okay. That was all. Because anyone online? No more online? Okay, so when we come back, we're going to be doing on holiday, looking at a place in Malaysia, and doing some tourist stuff. So, okay, let's have a break. And when we come back, we'll do this part. Okay, so we'll have a break.
After finishing.
Okay, so let's get back into the class. No, because it's not important, this test. Yeah, only every 3 weeks. That's the most important test. Every 3 weeks. So last week, not important. This week, no. Next week, more important, that test.
Next week.
Yes, not this week, next week. Yeah, but still come to do the test, but it's okay if you miss it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, next, not this Friday, next Friday. Yes. Yeah. Okay, no worries. You can do Monday. Yes. Okay, so let's get back in. We are talking about on holiday. So we're a village near Guangga Mula National Park in Malaysia. So what kind of tourist are you? So we've got some questions here. So put a tick. Do you always buy a return ticket? So return ticket means that you go, but also you make sure that it's returned. Do you always buy a return ticket? For me, yes, because I need to come back to Australia, my home. So I'm going to tick yes. Do you check in more than one bag? So check in means when you give your luggage to the airplane, they have to put it on the plane. Do you put more than one? For me, no. So I'm not gonna tick. Do you book the hotel in advance? For me, yes. I make sure that I know where I'm going to stay. It's very important. Do you rent a car? For me, no. You rent a car? Yeah. Some people, they like to rent a car because they've got the freedom to go wherever they need to go. For me, no. Do you buy souvenirs? For me, yes. Me too. I buy souvenirs. Use a tour guide. Yeah, sometimes. For me, it depends. Yeah. Yeah, it depends because now you can do self-guided tour, which means that you just press a button and there'll be an audio or something. So you'll go to a place, you just press a button, there's an audio. So, you know, guided tours, they're pretty expensive. Not many people can always afford a guided tour. So for me, no. And do you like sightseeing? So seeing many places. Seeing many places. Okay. Do you often buy a single ticket? No? I mean, for Australia, yes, you bought a single ticket, maybe yes, but often, is it always you do that? No. For me, I'm not going to tick it, no. Do you only take one carry-on? For me, yes. Do you find a hotel after you arrive? For me, no. I booked before. Yeah, for me before. Do you use public transport? Yeah, I use public transport. Do you buy local food at markets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you learn some phrases in the local languages? Yeah. Meet local people? Yeah. Okay, so which tick do you have more in tourist A or tourist B? Me too. 5 and 5. I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you are more tourist A or tourist B, you could look to page 157. So let's go to 157. So make sure you see which one you have more in So if you are tourist A, you don't have much spare time, so your holidays last a week or two. That's me. You plan your holiday months before you go, and your favorite holidays are with other people in tour groups. You like taking a lot of clothes. That's me. And staying in comfortable hotels. That is me. If you are tourist B, if you got more ticks in B, you go on long holidays, a month or more, and you don't like planning them. Your favorite holidays are backpacking or hiking. You enjoy meeting local people, eating local food, and staying at small hotels or camping. You usually travel on your own or with one other friend. So for me, I was in the middle, but I think more tourist A is more me. Yeah. So we like to plan. We like to take lots of clothes. We want to feel comfortable. Okay, let's go back. So now, so number 1, a ticket for travel to a place and back is return. So when you have a return ticket, it means you traveled somewhere, but then you come back. Return ticket.
Yeah.
So that is return ticket. So it's very different to a single ticket. It's a return ticket. It means it is a two-way ticket. Okay, a ticket for travel to a place, but not back. Single ticket. So single ticket, or you can call it a one-way ticket. So that's a ticket for travel to one place, but not back. Single ticket. You carry this bag onto the plane. What's the name? It's a carry-on. It's a carry-on bag. It's a carry-on luggage. It's also a personal item. Sometimes you'll see on the ticket, it will say personal item. So it just means a little bag that you take with you on the plane. Carry on, because you carry it onto the plane. Telephone for a hotel room before you arrive. Yeah, you book a hotel. Special objects you buy on holiday. Souvenirs, gifts. You could say gifts, but it's more souvenirs. Looking at famous and interesting places. Give your bag to the airline so they can put it on the plane. That's a check-in luggage or bag. So very different to your carry-on. This is a check-in luggage. Or bag. Looking at famous and interesting places. Sightseeing. That means that you're looking at famous and interesting places, sightseeing. And pay to use something for a period of time. You rent. You can rent a car, you can rent a book, you can rent a movie. Rent. So it's for a short time, and then you must give it back. Okay, so we have these words. So sometimes when we learn some words, it could be an adjective. It's also important to learn what the noun is for that word. So if we have the word tour as an action, tourism is the noun, tourist is the person, and tour guide is another noun. So you can see it's all got the same word from that verb. We could do the same one for travel. So the action is to travel. A traveler, so if it has an ER, that tells you it's a noun. It's something that someone's doing. They're traveling the world. You can also have travel mate or travel partner. So these are just words that have the same word. So you got the verb, noun, noun. Visit. So the action is to visit. You can have a visitor. You know, when someone comes to your house, a visitor, or a visitor's center. So you know when you go to a place and you need to ask for information, that's called a visitor center. To drive, that's an action, to drive. Driver is someone who drives the car. Driving instructor. Actually, it should be driver instructor or driving instructor. Driver's license. And just an extra one, to cook, for example. Cook. Cookery course, cookbook. Okay, so that shows you that sometimes you can have a verb, but it can also be a noun. Okay, so we're going to listen to a podcast with a travel expert, Jan. That means that she's very good at traveling. She's an expert in traveling, so she has a lot of knowledge and information. What kind of tourist is the podcast for? Listen again and then answer these questions and also take notes in number 6. So we're going to do 4, 5, and 6, but I'll play the audio 2 times. Okay, so let's listen.
Track 104, Unit 11A.
Hello and welcome to your weekly podcast from indietravelinfo.com. With me today is travel writer Jan Lanting with more suggestions for the independent traveler. Jan, today I want to start with your advice for travelers this year. Can you give us some suggestions for good places to visit?
Yes, first of all, you don't have to leave England. Last week, I took a short break on my own to Thurleston on the southwest coast. It's a beautiful place.
What's the best way to travel?
You can take the train, but I think you should rent a car. Then you can drive along the coast.
What's the weather like at this time of year?
A bit cold, and sometimes it rains, so you should take a coat.
I think I'd prefer to go somewhere warmer.
Okay, well, you should fly to Malaysia. It's hot at this time of year.
Sounds great. With a place like Malaysia, should I book accommodation before I go?
In the big cities, hotels are often busy, so you should book in advance. But in the countryside, it's no problem. You can always find a room. I also recommend taking a tour into the jungle.
The jungle?
That's right. You can see lots of amazing animals and plants.
Should I go with a tour guide?
Yes, you should. It's dangerous on your own.
Sure. Now for our final destination. The Arctic.
That's right, the Arctic.
Isn't it cold?
Yes, it is. Also, you shouldn't go in the winter because it's dark. But in summer, the days are longer and it's a bit warmer, so you should go then.
But how do you get there? Should I go on my own or with a tour?
You have to go with a travel company. When I went, I took a cruise ship from Norway and slept in a nice cabin on the ship.
Okay, let's play it again. So remember to do questions 4, 5, and 6.
Track 104, Unit 11A.
Hello and welcome to your weekly podcast from indietravelinfo.com. With me today is travel writer Jan Lanting with more suggestions for the independent traveler. Jan, today I want to start with your advice for travelers this year. Can you give us some suggestions for good places to visit?
Yes, first of all, you don't have to leave England. Last week, I took a short break on my own to Thurleston on the southwest coast. It's a beautiful place.
What's the best way to travel?
You can take the train, but I think you should rent a car. Then you can drive along the coast.
What's the weather like at this time of year?
A bit cold, and sometimes it rains, so you should take a coat.
I think I'd prefer to go somewhere warmer.
Okay, well, you should fly to Malaysia. It's hot at this time of year.
Sounds great. With a place like Malaysia, should I book accommodation before I go?
In the big cities, hotels are often busy, so you should book in advance. But in the countryside, it's no problem. You can always find a room. I also recommend taking a tour into the jungle.
The jungle?
That's right. You can see lots of amazing animals and plants.
Should I go with a tour guide?
Yes, you should. It's dangerous on your own.
Sure. Now for our final destination. The Arctic.
That's right. The Arctic.
Isn't it cold?
Yes, it is. Also, you shouldn't go in the winter because it's dark. But in summer, the days are longer and it's a bit warmer, so you should go then.
But how do you get there? Should I go on my own or with a tour?
You have to go with a travel company. When I went, I took a cruise ship from Norway and slept in a nice cabin on the ship.
Okay, we'll listen one more time, but let's just look at the answers before we listen. So she was talking about 3 places. Which place did she talk about first? Yeah, Thurlestone. So I'll put C. So she spoke about this place called Thurlestone, which is on the coast of England, so by the water. And then which other place did she speak about? The jungles of Malaysia, and then the Arctic, so ice. And what kind of tourist is the podcast for? What kind of tourist? So business tourist, student tourist, independent tourist, travelers. So it just means people that just travel on their own for their own reasons. No special reason, just independent. They just do it on their own. Okay, so that's where it got a little bit hard. Now here is where you have to answer information about the 3 places. So do you need a tour in Thurlestone? She said no. What was the weather like? Cold and it rains. And what type of transport? How do you move in the place? So I'll let, yeah, train or rent a car. So the first one here, transport, we'll write so for that one, we'll write so train or rent a car. That's here, transportation, train or rent a car. Malaysia and the jungles with a tour? Yes, especially in the jungle. So Malaysia, yes, you need a tour. And what's the weather like? Hot. And how do you get around the town? She didn't say. Accommodation? Accommodation? What was that? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So book for the big cities. But no for the countryside. And the last place, the Arctic, with a tour. Yeah, she said with a travel company. You must go here to this place with a travel company. You cannot just go by yourself. And what's the weather like in the Arctic? Cold. And how can you go transport? Cruise ship. Yep, you take the cruise ship. And where do you stay? Accommodation. You stay on the cabin. on the ship. That's like the room on the ship. So accommodation in the Arctic, you stay in a cabin on the ship. Okay, let's look at some grammar. You've got very similar to before when we said have to. We've got this word should. So it's not the main verb, it's subject, should, verb. So for example, it's sentences like, you should rent a car. So subject, remember, I, you, he, she, it, we, they. So you should rent a car. So the main action is here, rent. So this is saying that something is very important, very similar to have to, you should. You have to, you should. They're very, very, very similar words. To make it a negative, you add not. So you shouldn't, you can connect it, or should not. And then that's the main verb. To make a question, you have to always start with the verb. So should, subject, verb, main action. So, for example, you should rent a car. You shouldn't go in the winter. Should I go with a tour guide? Yes, you should. No, you shouldn't. So I'm asking if something is very important. So which form is the verb after should and shouldn't? What type of verb is this one? It's the main verb, but it's also the infinitive. Because you remember infinitive means I haven't changed the verb. So for question 1, what form is the verb after should or shouldn't? It's the infinitive. It's just the verb. You should play, you should speak, you should read, you should do, you should swim, you should exercise, you should read, you should watch. So it's in the infinitive. It means I haven't changed the verb. I haven't put an ed, I haven't put an ing. It's just the verb like by itself. And it's also the main action, the main verb. How do you make a question with should? Well, you start with should. That's how you make a question. Do you use the auxiliary do or does in negative questions? So if I want to make a question, do I use do or does? Or in the negative, do I use do or does? I can't see it in my rule, so no. In the negative, I use not. And in the question, this is the rule, so no. So the answer for number 3 is no. Okay, so let's practice it. I'll just give you some examples. You should be careful from sharks. You should try kangaroo meat. In Brazil, you should go to the beach because we have many beautiful beaches. In summer, to avoid skin cancer, you should take an umbrella. You should visit South Australian Island. You should visit Sydney to see the Opera House. You should buy a Metro card. In Colombia, you shouldn't use your phone on the bus as someone can steal it from you.
Yes.
I didn't write that one. Someone told me. That's true, yeah. They just will take it from your hand. Wow. Yeah. And Peru as well. I don't know, Fernando, is that in Peru as well? So, do you see how should? I'm telling you, it's very important. You shouldn't. You should. Okay, let's practice here. So you have to read the sentences and give advice. So if somebody says, I'm very tired, what will you tell them using the word should? You should take a nap. You should, because I'm telling them, you should sleep, you should rest, you should relax. Yeah. So if you're tired, you should take a holiday. You should relax, whatever, relax, rest, sleep. If someone says the sun is shining and the temperature is 40 degrees, that's very hot. You should stay at home. Yeah, you should stay indoors. You can say that one. You should stay indoors. You should bring an umbrella. Yeah. You should go to the beach. Yeah, they could get burnt with sunscreen. Yes, you should to cool down, but make sure you wear sunscreen. Yes, I agree. You should go to the beach, but wear sunscreen. If someone says, I can't speak the local language, what would you tell them to give them advice? Well, you should study English. You should learn some English words. You should take an English course. You should speak to a local English speaker. So you can see I'm using should to give important information. If someone says public transport is slow to the city center, well, you shouldn't take the bus. You should take a taxi. Yeah, you should buy a car. You should buy not just any car, but buy a Ferrari. You should walk. Maybe that's faster. You should what? No. You should know what? Carlos. No?
Okay. You can search.
Tell me that. Is it? How do I spell it? Yeah. J, like this one. U. Yes. C. A.
R. Is it Carlos? Okay.
Yes. Space.
A.
A.
B.
D.
B.
B.
A.
A.
Yeah. One Carlos.
This one?
No.
No. So not this one?
Yeah.
This guy is super slow in South America and in North America. Oh, yes.
So what did he do? Juan Carlos Abadia. So what did he do? He's a drug trafficker. Yes. So he's good at moving things.
People likes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Was hero.
Oh,
Oh no.
okay, so if somebody said this shop is expensive, you should go to the markets. Because the markets, usually everything's cheaper. Yeah, you should go to the local markets, maybe. You should find other options. Yeah, you should find, or you should look online. Maybe you should look online. You should find other, yeah, you should look online. If this shop is expensive, look online. Or you should go to the local markets. If somebody says Italy has very old and beautiful buildings, well, you should go sightseeing. You should explore. You should see all the old buildings. You can visit islands in Vietnam. You should take a boat. And in Norway, it's very cold in December and January, so you shouldn't go in winter. So remember, we can also make a negative, not just tell someone what to do or what we think is good for them, but we can tell them what we don't think is good for them. So don't go in winter. You shouldn't go in winter. So let's match some of these words. You should take a holiday. Ah, I see. So some of these answers had to come from here. So you should learn some words. You should take a holiday. So if you are tired, so you should take a holiday. That was the first one. Take a holiday. You should wear sunscreen. You should learn some words. You shouldn't take the bus. You should go to the local markets, or you should buy your souvenirs here. You should go sightseeing. You should take a boat. And you shouldn't go in winter. Okay, so that's all the answers for number 9. We had to get them from this box. So that's all of them there. So you could see subject should, or maybe it's shouldn't, and then main action. So take, wear, learn, go. Okay, let's look at another verb, take. So we use take with different types of words. We use it when we're talking about time. We use it when we're talking about transport, how we move, an object. So for the first one, you should take a break. Take a break. So number 1, you should take a break. That's the first one. You should take a break. You should take a taxi. And you should take an object. So for example, you should take an umbrella, you should take a drink to a party. So can you see how you use this verb to take, but in 3 different ways? To take time off work, to take the bus, to take the taxi, and to take something with you, an umbrella, to take a drink, to take a hat. So that's how we use this verb to take in 3 different ways. See you tomorrow, Italo. Bye. Okay, now you're going to choose a country and write advice for a tourist. So remember, when you give advice, you have to use words like should. You could go back and use the have to, must. So I'll show you some other words. You should, shouldn't, you must, you can, you don't have to, it's necessary, it's important. So you can use all these words when you're trying to tell someone advice. So try not to write always you should, you should, you should, you should. You have to change it. You should do this. You can do this. You must do this. It's very important. It's necessary. You can. So don't write all your sentences the same. Try and change them a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to help you with the grammar. So you're going to write, choose a country you know well, and write advice for a tourist. Now, if you want, you can choose a country to practice your English. You can pick another country. So talk about the weather, famous sites, local food, transport, language, shopping. And I will fix your English and just upload it to Facebook. So I'll make a post there and upload it there. So number 12, choose a country. You can work by yourself or with someone next to you and upload it to Facebook. If you don't have Facebook, go to Padlet. So you remember Padlet, we still have our writings here, but it's much easier for me to mark it in Facebook. So you go down, see it's very hard to find it here. You just go down and find it, Unit 11, somewhere, Unit 11. Okay, so I'll give you 5-10 minutes to work on that. Okay, so we're looking at, remember, we're writing about choose a country you know well and write advice for a tourist. So we're using words like should, have to, must, shouldn't, you can make it a negative, can. Okay, so Jose writes, so when we tell someone, we say you. So you should visit Poland. And so sometimes we don't need to repeat the same verb. So to do that, and Auschwitz in summer. Yeah, in the summertime. Maybe because it's a little bit short sentence, in the summertime. So you only need one verb. So you should visit Poland and Auschwitz in summertime. In Poland, you should eat Zupa Zurek and travel by train and travel around by train. So we say we travel around by train. You don't need to say the place because remember, I already know where. So, and you should travel around by train. Maybe to get the best views, right? So you see how the more I'm adding information to my sentence, it's new information, not to see Poland, because I already know I'm in Poland. So to get the best views and the best experience, so maybe. So not I, because then you're talking to, yes. So you should also learn some words in Polish and go shopping for gifts for your family. So for my family or for your family? But you're telling
For my family.
it should be for your family because you're telling someone what to do. So you should also learn some words in Polish and go shopping for gifts for your family. Then you have to get to know Ukraine. We don't really use this word. I know it's very common in Spanish. We say then you have to see Ukraine. We don't say get to know. We say see or visit. Okay, good. Then maybe I might say finally, you have to see Ukraine. I think Ukraine, which is nearby. You see how I keep adding new information, which is nearby. And I think you mean Ukraine, that's right? So good. So remember, we're telling people what we think they should do. So you should visit Poland and Auschwitz in summertime. In Poland, you should eat this food and travel around by train to get the best views. You should also learn some local words. I might just say local words. And go shopping for gifts for your family. Then finally, you have to see Ukraine, which is nearby. Good. Thank you, Jose. Okay, so keep adding and I'll correct the English for you. So online as well, make sure you upload to Facebook. Okay, we have Vivi. So Vivi said, you should visit Hawaii. You can't just put a comma. You should visit Hawaii. And its capital, Honolulu. Or you should visit, you should visit Hawaii and its capital, Honolulu. There are many important tourist places, but the favorite, remember, that's an opinion. So you could say, but the most popular, or you could say, but my favorite. It depends, but I would say, but the most popular place is Waikiki Beach. Touristic places, but the most popular place is Waikiki Beach. In Hawaii, there are only 2 seasons, winter and summer. Its most popular language is Hawaiian. I would say the local language, the local common language is Hawaiian, but English also exists, but even better, but English is also spoken here. And I think they speak very good English. They speak very good English. So, but English is also spoken here. Its main gastronomy, yeah, it's a bit formal, this word. So we just say the best dish is fish because Hawaii is on an island. Yes, the best dish is fish because Hawaii is surrounded by the ocean. I might make it a little bit different because Hawaii is surrounded. It means all around it is surrounded by the ocean. So that's the best dish is fish. Ah, that would be nice. Good. Thank you, Vivi, for sharing that. So keep uploading. No worries, Clayton. 11. Yeah, I didn't see. Okay, so Lewis. So Lewis says, a good place to visit in my country is Medellin. I think it has a good climate and has many famous places. Transportation is a metro cable. Yeah, so it is easy. Maybe it is easy to get around. So again, to mean like to move around. It is easy to get around by the metro cable. They speak very well about food. The locals speak very well about food, or the locals have a lot of knowledge about food, or are passionate, maybe. I might say the locals are passionate about food. You can try the pesa tray. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Which, to connect that sentence, I would have said which is very popular. Thank you, Lewis, for sharing that. Edward. When you visit Colombia, you should visit the Chicamauca Canyon. So again, to connect that sentence, which is located in Santander and is one of the most famous touristic attractions in the country. On the way there, you can, so this is good using can, you can stop for a corn aprecha, yum, with cheese and caramelized chorizo, but you should use a bus to get there or rent a car to get around. You will also find many souvenir shops, hotels, and restaurants serving the best of Colombian food. Beautiful, perfect, good use of when you visit Colombia, you should. Yeah, on the way there, you can stop for a corner picture with cheese and caramelized chorizo. Maybe not but, and you should use a bus to get there or rent a car to get there. You will also find many souvenir shops. I might change the will to can. You can also find many souvenir shops, hotel, and restaurants serving the best. The only reason is because we want to practice can, but you can say will, but just because we want to practice can, but very good. No worries. Okay. Alina, thank you. Yes. Okay. You don't have to bring heavy clothes to Thailand. The weather is very hot and the sun is strong. You should wear sunscreen. I might connect the sentence by saying, so you should wear sunscreen. The air conditioning in department stores is so cool. So you should go inside and feel like heaven. I might say like and feel like heaven. When you feel uncomfortable due to a heat stroke, you can try Thai massage. to help your body recover. Good. You should drink Thai milk tea. You have to respect their culture. This is good. So you have to respect their culture so I didn't know this one, as they have a lot of respect for God. So that's good. Alina, thank you. I didn't know that. So very important that you have to respect God when you go to Thailand, because that's a very big part of their culture. Perfect. Thank you. So I'll send that back to you. Okay, we have a few more. So Juanita, I like your emojis throughout it. Looks, I keep forgetting to say to you guys, you can use emojis. So Colombia, Cali, city Cali. So the weather is hot, but it's going to be between 25 and 32 degrees. So you should wear sunscreen. The weather is, I don't know why he said but. But is only like the weather is hot, but this weekend it's cold. So I don't want to say but, because you're not saying the negative. You're saying the weather is hot and the weather is hot. Just see you tomorrow, Edward. The weather is hot. It's going to be between 25 and 32 degrees. So you should wear sunscreen. The famous site is Cristo Rey. The famous site to see is Cristo Rey. It is a monument about Christ. Yeah, I know. It is very high at 36 meters. You should go in a car because it's 30 minutes from the city on a mountain. See you tomorrow, Jose. Bye. Bye, Alina. See you tomorrow. I might put that on a mountain next to here. It's very high on a mountain. Do you see how it connects better? It's very high on a mountain at 36 meters. So I might connect the sentence. So you should go in a car because it's 30 minutes from the city. Yeah, so you should go by car. The local food is delicious. I might add an exclamation because you're saying it with excitement. The local food is delicious. The most important food is cholado. I might connect the sentence by saying which is a mixed fruit with, which is a mixture of fruit with different sweet sauces and ice. That sounds so good right now. It is so refreshing. You should eat it on a hot day. Good use of should. You should eat it on a hot day. For the transport, we say maybe to make it less formal, you know, for getting around, that's very common. For getting around, you should take, remember we looked at take, you should take a public bus. Your name is Mio. Its name? Yeah. For getting around, you should take a public bus called Mio. Is that right? Is that what the bus is called? That's cute, called Mio. Yes. But it is very expensive. You shouldn't use illegal transportation because you can be fined. Good. What's illegal transportation? Is that? Okay. So you pay someone and they take you in the motorcycle. So you shouldn't use illegal transportation such as a motorcycle because you can be fined. Good. The language is Spanish, but you should use a translator to learn some words. Yeah, the language is Spanish. I would say, but if you don't speak Spanish, because maybe some people speak Spanish, but if you don't speak it, you can. I would say you can, because if they want, you can use a translator. Yeah, you can use a translator. I might just put a full stop there. You can use a translator. The people are plural. The people are very friendly. So don't worry. So don't worry. The hug. If you want to bring a souvenir, we say if you want to buy a souvenir. If you want to buy a souvenir, you said a, so that's singular. Then you should go to a central market in the city where you can find cheap things. Yeah, cheap items, cheap things. Enjoy Cali, beautiful. Okay, so we very well done and lots of information about Cali. I can see you love it so much because you've given so much details. Okay, so I didn't have enough time to mark everyone's, but we will continue them. I think Jonathan, Sebastian, Oscar, you wrote a lot as well. So I will check them tomorrow. Maybe we'll do Sebastian because that's a short one now. You still here, Sebastian? Yes. Okay, let me check yours then because it's a... Okay, so hello, mates. You should go to Cartagena, Colombia, which is... See you, Sylvia? Which is a city with warm climate. So you should use sunscreen. You can use public transportation to see its walls. So is it surrounded by like walls or something? Ah, walls. That's a place. Okay. So which is a place in the city? Ah, yes, yes, to see the walls, which is an old... Wow. But what's the name? The walls? In English, the walls?
Yes.
Okay. The walls. Okay. So you can use public transportation to go to the walls. So I put it in capital letters to make sure it's a place, but I want to describe it to people, which is an old city, which is an old city, which is an ancient city, if you want. The local food is very delicious, but you can't go to all the places. So when you said but, it's connecting to the food. So we can't say but. So you can only say the local food is very delicious, but it's very expensive. So but is only talking about the food. So we need to take it off. The local food is very delicious. You can't go to all the places because it is dangerous. The language, yeah, the spoken language is Spanish. Make sure capital letter. I might change this one. So you must use sunscreen. You can use public transportation to go to the walls, which is an ancient old city. The local food is very delicious. You can't go to all the places because it is dangerous. The spoken language is Spanish. Good, perfect. Okay, so I'll check Oscar, Jonathan, and online. You haven't uploaded, so I'll check all tomorrow. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow, talking this week about tourist. So everything to do with tourist, trips. Next lesson, should I go there? So looking at places. Yeah, so very interesting to see. So thank you for your writing and see you all tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye online. Andres, Clayton, Gustavo, Jessica. See you
Bye,
tomorrow.
teacher.
Bye.